Imagine traveling halfway around the world to study in America, filled with hope and hard work. Then overnight, you're told your visa is canceled. In April 2025, thousands of international students faced exactly that shock when the Trump administration abruptly terminated their student visas. Students who had built lives here found themselves scrambling, even planning to self-deport, until court challenges forced a reversal of the policy just days later. This gut-punch scenario left many hearts racing and futures in limbo. The visa crisis and its reversal. In early April 2025, the U.S. government suddenly revoked the legal status of thousands of international students listed in a government database. Overnight, hard-working young people, some of whom came from China, India, and beyond, were no longer legally allowed to study here. Many felt betrayed. Some students, fearing sudden deportation, began packing their bags. Thankfully, federal courts quickly ruled the action unlawful, and the Department of Homeland Security backtracked, reinstating their visas. In other words, the nightmare was halted. Already under scrutiny, America's rigorous vetting. International students aren't easy to sneak in. In fact, they already undergo extreme screening and monitoring every step of the way. For example, school vetting. Before a student even applies for a visa, they must gain admission to a U.S. college or university that is certified by Homeland Security. Embassy screening. When applying, every student's background is checked by U.S. consular officials and intelligence agencies. If there's any doubt, they go through administrative processing, extra questions, and check before visas granted. Border inspection. Upon arrival, Customs and Border Protection officers interview each student. If anything is unclear, the student goes to a second secure interview room for additional questioning. Only then are they admitted or sent back. Ongoing monitoring. Once in the U.S., students must enroll full-time, keep their grades up, and report changes, like moving or switching majors, within 10 days. Their schools, in turn, must report these updates to the government Student and Exchange Visitor Program. Given all this vetting, adding more layers can feel redundant. In fact, experts note that pile-on screening could make America less welcoming, driving students to friendlier countries instead. Economic engine. $43.8 billion and 378,000 jobs. International students do more than fill classrooms. They fuel the economy. In 2023 to 2024, their tuition payments and living expenses pumped $43.8 billion into the U.S. economy. This spending supported an estimated 378,175 American jobs that year. To put that in perspective, every college town benefits. Local shops, landlords, and service providers all gain from having students from abroad. Thousands of campuses and communities rely on this steady influx of creative energy and money. STEM leadership. The data speaks. More than half of all international students in the U.S. pursue graduate degrees in STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, math. The impact is staggering. For example, over 65% of graduate students in computer science and in electrical engineering are international, meaning most computer and electrical engineering classes are filled with global talent. Chemical, petroleum, and civil engineering programs also have international students making up roughly half their graduate body. This data shows how reliant U.S. advanced science programs are on the very students we were close to sending home. Without them, the labs and research institutes could face severe talent shortages. Innovation and national security. Why talent matters. We like to think American companies invent the future, and they do, often with help. Research shows international students start companies at about 8 to 9 times the rate of their U.S. peers. In fact, 25% of today's billion-dollar startups in the U.S. were founded by former international students. Think OpenAI, SpaceX, Moderna, Robinhood, and Grammarly all have roots in founders who studied in the U.S. on student visas. Each of these companies drives jobs, innovation, and national leadership in technology. National security and science leadership are also at stake. Almost 45% of U.S. STEM workers with doctoral degrees were born abroad. Meanwhile, Only 3.2% of U.S. high school grads are estimated to enter the STEM workforce. In other words, domestic talent pipelines are too thin to fill key research and tech roles. Even some U.S. policymakers recognize this. President Trump himself has said that international STEM graduates who earn degrees here should be granted green cards to stay in America. It's a reminder that these students are assets, not liabilities, to our economy and security. Global impact, soft power, and networks. Beyond dollars and innovation, international students carry America's values abroad. Our universities have educated more world leaders than any other country. Future diplomats, CEOs, and thinkers who forge personal ties here. Those friendships become America's soft power. Every student who studies here is an informal ambassador of U.S. culture, science, and ideals. When we welcome them, they go home valuing American innovation and democracy. If we turn them away, we drive those bright minds into the arms of other nations, including U.S. rivals. Embracing our international community. Our recent visa scare and its reversal has shown one thing clearly. International students belong here. They've already passed intense security checks, and they contribute mightily to our campuses and economy. Each of these students brings unique perspectives, hard work, and innovation that benefit all Americans. As one expert puts it, driving them away would sap U.S. influence and weaken the very economic and scientific goals we all share. Instead, let's celebrate the global community on our campuses. By valuing international students, the future entrepreneurs, scientists, and leaders, we invest in an America that is stronger, smarter, and more secure. The facts are clear. International students are not just visitors. They are vital threads in the fabric of America's future. By welcoming them, we keep our innovation engine running and our nation's promise alive. Sources: authoritative data and expert analysis from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. Story by David L. DeMaria. The Conversation, NAFSA, and National Science Foundation, 2025. Each statistic and quote above is backed by these sources.